Welcome to Static Sean Studios. This is your host, Static Sean, and today's episode, we're talking about simping. Oh, I need to talk to my co-host. Is simping still a thing? Do we still talk about that? I don't care. I'm still going to call it simping. We're going to talk about how Takemichi is able to go back in the past for someone he barely knows and the repercussions of it. Let's get started. Guys, would you want to get beat up, then jump, then beat up again for the potential of a relationship? And yes, just a relationship. And ladies, would you want to fight through for your man thick and thin? But the caveat is you barely know him and he's from middle school. Well, if the answer is no, then you cannot relate with our protagonist, Takemichi. And Takemichi is in his mid-20s and he suddenly got the ability to time travel. With this ability, he was able to see some middle school friends, be able to interact with people, but for some reason in his memories, he thought he loved middle school, but it's the total opposite. He was bullied every day, ostracized, and he kind of hated it because he wasn't as strong like the other kids and wasn't able to fight. All I'm saying is the only way you can defend yourself in this situation is Takemichi must recruit Mikey and have Draken as friends in order for him to halfway survive, because in many of these scenarios he would have just easily died.
My name is Grimmy and I've come to reap your immortal soul.
I'm talking about dead. He would have been dead in the first episode if he did not have his friends to help him. Like, really, realistically speaking, like, you have not talked to this girl, and though she might have passed away, you move on. Would you really want to put your life in danger? Now you in the future and now you a gang boss. All I'm saying is you need to get your priorities straight, Takemichi. And I think this anime really puts it into perspective that Cat isn't everything. You know, have some goals. Just have to become the Hokage. You know, find the One Piece.
One Piece? 嘘マジ? 誰が一番
You don't have to always go and try to fight. So with Naoto, I can understand. Naoto was able to get his sister back. He was able to even survive himself. He would not been alive if it wasn't for Takemichi. So he gets a pass because that's his sister. But Takemichi, I don't think Takemichi gets that pass really, because like, why? And then he has to go against all these different gang members. We had Baji, we had Pa, we had Hanma, we have like all these different people you had to go against, like level bosses. You face the first boss, and then the second boss, and then the third boss. And you would think after all these fights, Takemichi would get stronger. No. Takemichi would get wiser. No. Takemichi would be able to have some amount of ability to fight for himself. No. I guess more than anything, he has the ability of plot armor. He's able to make friends with literally anyone. I don't even think Naruto's able to do what Takemichi was able to do. Naruto at least was able to talk to him a little bit, say how his dream of being Hokage, and then they could relate because he's trying to change the world. Takemichi just wants his girl back. He just wants his girlfriend, and all he has to talk to people about is just have some fun bowling, and then that's your best friend. That's your ride or die. Takemichi can just go on one motorcycle ride and then the guy's ready to die for him. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. I'm just saying, like, I think that this is a good story. It's very interesting. It keeps me entertained. But Takemichi, if I had your ability, man, I would make my life so much better. So much. You could have been the CEO. You could have won the lottery. You could have helped so many things. It seemed like the plot doesn't want it to work. You know, let me give you this. Let me give you this, Takemichi. If I was able to go back in your shoes, and let's say that the first try I went back, I wasn't able to save her. Second try, I went back, wasn't able to save her. At that point, I think that's just a lost cause. Because at this point, he's going back 3-4 times and the timeline's changing. And he has to be a mob boss in order for him to save his girl. And then at that point, what are you losing? Who are you, Takemichi? And then let's not even discuss like what happens when he comes back from him being conscious in middle school and goes back to the future. He turns to a totally different person. As we've seen in this video clip of him, he was just easily able to just kill off somebody. Like, I think the personality changes of what even the other characters are experiencing from him is craziness. How do they know that this is even Takemichi anymore when he's going back from his middle school self and then his mid-20s self? Definitely good plot development, good story overall, but either way, you have these people, Kasaki on your back, you have Hanma on your back. You just have too many enemies. Your friends are your enemies at that point. And then let's even think of it. His friends are of no use. The future just changes and changes and changes. And then the scary part about this is what? We don't realize that some of these changes could be permanent. Takemichi almost died in the last season. So like, these things could be easily permanent. Because first off, the time continues in middle school. It's parallel. So when he goes back, it still moves along as if the story continues from where he saved off from his last point. So if he messed up previously, he can't go back even further. So you're just like putting yourself deeper and deeper in a hole. And everyone says that they wouldn't want to be in the world of Attack on Titan. I wouldn't want to be in the world of Tokyo Revengers. The reason for that is if the timeline constantly changed, one day I'm a chef, one day I'm president, one day I'm a criminal, one day I get executed, the next day I'm dead, I would lose my mind. I wouldn't even know who I am at that point. There would be so many different changes happening in my life. I wouldn't know if my best friend's gone. I wouldn't know if my mom's still here. Do I have 2 dads? Who knows? Because every day it just changes. You might as well just create another flashpoint at that point. But if it's for love, screw everyone else and destroy your own timeline. And that's the reason why I don't think time traveling is a broken ability, especially in Takemichi's case. Thanks everyone. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Static Sean out.